Hello and welcome to another episode of the FPL Hangover podcast where we raise the bar in order to hone all things FPL related. We are coming to you on the 26th of October. Halloween is but a few days away and there's nothing scarier in the world right now than Fantasy Premier League and a potential Haaland injury. But here to talk about Game Week 14 and have a quick look back at Game Week 13 is my podcast partner in crime, Paddy. How are you getting on, my friend?
I'm getting on great, and it's good to be back, Ger. It's felt like it's been forever, and I want to say hello to all the listeners listening on their favorite podcasts, and to the millions and millions watching on YouTube. That's to you there, guys. Good morning, good evening, and good night. I'm on the Guinness, Ger. What are you on? You're still doing your what were you doing? Your dry November or dry October? Is that what it's called? Or
I believe the phrase
like a very
is October.
Suspicious looking bottle.
It's
Sober October. How's Sober October going, Ger?
There's a ginger beer in play. I won't lie. I won't lie. There's been it's a rough month to try and give up alcohol. Okay, a lot of work occasions, birthdays and concerts and stuff. So who knows where a man might fall down. But yeah.
So you failed. Is that what you're saying, Jerry? You failed.
I would say I
Sober
have
October.
altered the plan. Some might say fail, others might say.
When did you decide to alter the plan? Because it's the 26th now. You only had 5 days to go.
Either way, we've missed a game week, as you said, Paddy. I mean, what I get when we can't do a podcast, and I might have turned to the drink last week. We missed game week 13 due to the bloody midweek fixtures, and it's just almost impossible to get a pod out in time. And we're back this week to talk about my failures as a human being and Fantasy Premier League. How did game week 13 go for you, Paddy? We'll skip 12. Who gives a shit? That's the past. We don't live in the past.
Yeah, fuck 12. But 12 was a red arrow. Just putting it out there. I just had to put it out there. And I'm on my second red arrow this game week as well. But it's a very minute red arrow. It's a 4K red arrow. So I think you would call that surviving a game week, Ger, wouldn't you?
A 4K red arrow when you're up. What's your overall ranking again? 200k or something?
192,000.
Yeah, then a 4K might as well be as close to a grey arrow, because I mean the points are so tight up.
Yeah.
The points are so tight anyway. I've seen people fly up millions of places. Yeah, an amber arrow. It's exactly when you break a red light.
Yes, exactly. So. I'll dissect it very quickly because there's not much to talk about here. Ward, absolute savior again.
Talk about
6
redeeming.
Points last week, 8 points this week.
Talk about redeeming yourself in terms of a narrative. You went from an absolute villain at the start of the season to an FPL savior in the space of 3 fucking game sheets or game sheets. I was gonna say clean sheets or game weeks.
That's how fickle us FPL managers are when it comes to heroes and villains.
100%.
And 8 points, absolutely amazing stuff. The rest of the defense, so Cancelo 2, Trippier 2, and Perisic 1, and he's someone that's starting to get in my wick. That Perisic fucker, but we'll talk about him later. Anyway, the midfield was not much better. Salah 2, Bowen 3. Rashford 3, Martinelli 2. Now, I do want to say I was always going to keep Salah after, we got rid of Salah got rid of De Bruyne last week because of the blank and brought Salah in. And I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of Salah when he was playing Nottingham Forest. Who would? Who would? Rashford, I thought I've been very, very unlucky this last couple of weeks with him. I feel that there should have been a couple of goals. I feel hard done by Ger. I feel hard done. But do you know what? I'm glad to have him going forward. And Martinelli, there's just too much money tied up in him, and I think he is involved in everything still. Up front, Tony 2, Mitrovic 6, and Haaland, of course, 26 points, captain. And then just staring at me right in the face, Andreas, 10 points. So that was my game week. How was yours?
Thank you very much. That's a pretty solid game week. 57 points. What was the average this week on the site? The average is 51. So I mean, yeah, you take that any game week. Yeah, as you said, I think the big kind of pain point from both myself and yourself this week was Andreas on the bench. A lot of managers would have, left him as first sub. I mean, you see it floating around the place. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely people who played him. He's kind of creeping up as one of the, he might like a 4.5 midfielder that's somehow earning his way into starting lineups. But yeah, he's on fire at the moment, FPL wise, and I had him on the bench as well. But overall for me, 52 points. I think again another mild red arrow, and I think we've very similar teams. Like in scoring patterns this week, nothing mad. I did get Fabianski's 8 points as opposed to Ward, so they matched each other, which kind of was probably something I didn't expect going into the West Ham game. I was like, oh, he's definitely going to lose his clean sheet now, and I'll be sick of that Ward on the bench. But Gay with 0, big blank nothing, Trippier, Cancelo, Martinelli, Zaha, and then my transfer this week was Trossard to Foden. And of course, as is the law of FPL, you're gonna basically transfer. He didn't start. Everyone knows Trossard got a goal, which was unavoidable. And then
the cruel gods of FPL, Ger.
Cruel bitch mother. That is the Fantasy Premier League. And also Salah with a disappointing return of 2 points. Mitrovic with a goal. Tony blank. And our shining star in this season and this game week was Haaland with another brace. And he has cast a doubt over himself this week, which is unfortunate, but we'll get into it a little later on. We'll be talking about captaincies. I would also like to say that just before we continue that if there's any audio issues tonight, then we apologise. There's just the internet connection is pretty weak at the moment. Poor Donegal's getting blasted by hurricane, who the fuck knows, and maybe there's some lag, maybe not. We're doing our best to work through it, but forgive us if there is. And back to you, Paddy. You also, who was your transfer last week, or did you make one? I was gonna say you didn't get Foden, did you? You didn't fall into that trap.
No, I made one transfer, and that was I got rid of Dunk. No, I didn't get rid of Dunk. I don't know what my fucking transfer was last week.
You made no transfer, to be
honest.
Week,
I think I just made.
You made none. You rolled it.
Did I not make? No, I've got two. I've got two free transfers this week.
Yeah,
so
you rolled it, baby.
Yeah, I rolled it. That's how I roll. And I'm in a bit of a predicament, Ger.
Why?
I mean, I've got two free transfers, and I had this plan. Last week. Straight after the blank, I was going to get rid of Salah for Foden. That was cemented. Now, if I had went ahead with that plan, it wouldn't have made real much of a difference because Foden got benched and Salah did nothing.
Yeah.
So it balanced out that decision. Like I was kind of like, at least I didn't get burned too badly by it. And now I'm kind of in the same predicament again, Ger, because I'm not getting rid of Salah this week. I'm going to keep him because I think we need to start looking at this now. There's 3 weeks left before the World Cup, and any players you bring in now are just a punt. You can have a little punt now because it's 3 weeks before you can practically reset your whole team.
I believe the term they use in the FPL community, Paddy, is dead ending. That seems to be the common parlance now.
Wow. Yeah. Dead ending.
Yeah.
Like that's what I never heard that. But anyway, I like it.
Yeah.
I think I like it.
And you're spot on, like in terms of like there is only 3 weeks left, so any transfers you make, it's a very limited scope that you're looking to target. Do you know what I mean? As you say, you can't do too much damage. For the next 3 weeks. But I mean, going with 2 transfers any game week is always a blessing. So like we'll talk about game week 14, I suppose, towards the end of the show when we look at captaincies and stuff. But I mean, looking at your team there,
we'll have
it's almost you could almost roll that again. Do you know that kind of way? I think you mentioned Perisic, and that's someone that we can touch on because I suppose he would be an area of concern. But overall, I mean, you,
But he's got Bournemouth this week.
yeah, exactly. But I suppose the question is
Yeah, I mean,
whether
yeah.
he starts.
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't start the last
Did he
game.
start in the Champions League last night? That's the real question.
Yeah, I think he did.
I
Yeah, no, that's no, you're making sense to me. Yeah, sorry.
uh,
I totally just like put the Champions League out of my head there. I was like, once the Champions League's over, I can look at my transfers. But yeah, that's the one.
yeah, I'm actually not sure if he did start, and I've left my phone out of reach, so I can't even sneakily look it up right now. But that's something I would go back on, and I would be if he starts in the Champions League. I don't know. I think he would be an area that I would be concerned with because the rest of that team just looks so strong. You know.
Well, I mean, being the want to keep everything right in the podcast, I have the Tottenham lineups right now. Spurs are playing at 8 o'clock. This is irrelevant to everyone.
Oh, they didn't play last night, no?
No, they're playing tonight, and Perisic is starting. So he's starting tonight.
Yeah. So I mean, like.
So yeah, maybe he gets the chop.
Well, yeah. If he plays many minutes tonight, then you would be expecting, potentially Sessegnon to, could take his spot on the left again against Bournemouth, particularly before that Liverpool match, because you'd imagine. I don't know what Conte's doing. I think Spurs are kind of in a bit of trouble right now anyway. Form-wise, they lost to Newcastle at the weekend. And outside of Harry Kane, there doesn't seem to be any real assets kind of shining themselves out, would you say?
No, I agree with you. Like, Harry Kane is, for the price of him, he's doing remind you what Jimenez done for Wolves. Just ticking along, grabbing a goal, grabbing an assist or whatever.
Would you be do you think that's like okay for his price point? Like, does that put you off?
No, I would love to have him if someone's getting me points every week.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't give a fuck what price they are. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I didn't mean to just compare Harry Kane to Jimenez, but if you know what I mean. Like, do you remember that year where Jimenez was just tapping away?
Consistency.
Doing a bit. Yeah, consistency. You can't put a price in consistency. No,
you can't put a price on it. But yeah, no, I'm the same. I mean, Harry Kane is the one that I'm like kind of wondering if maybe I know if I could choose right now, kind of Salah or Harry Kane, I'd probably be leaning towards Kane just because I'm pretty frustrated the Nottingham thing. But then, how can you look past that home fixture against Leeds? Big one this weekend. I do genuinely think it's gonna drag a few people off the Haaland armband again, like it did last week away to Forest.
Especially that there's a doubt on him now as well. Like, we'll have to really be listening in for these press conferences even more. But I mean, nobody's going to be selling Haaland, right?
Did you hear what Pep said after the match last night, Champions League?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he came, like, obviously there'll be a presser before game week 14, but he came out and he essentially said that Foden looked tired out there, which, so for Foden owners like me, a bit of a concern. Foden looked tired out there, and Haaland had a bit of a fever and as a pain in the leg. So not like he didn't seem overly concerned, but it's enough to make you question how many minutes he gets against Leicester this weekend. And Paddy, it's the early kickoff. So I mean, I think that's going to dominate the news for the next couple of days. Yeah,
of the curse of the early kickoff. Well, yeah, I had my doubts about Haaland last night. Even like not to to have a crossover here, but like playing the Champions League fantasy, I had my doubts about Haaland last night. And I didn't captain him for the first time, and it felt weird in any fantasy game not captaining Haaland. And I got that call right, obviously, because he came off. Did he come off? He didn't play he came off at half time, was it, or before? Yeah. I'm not sure. I think
no, he came off at half time.
I wasn't watching the game.
Himself and Cancelo.
Yeah, and so like, I mean, was that? And then he got a bad tackle as well. I seen the pictures of the tackle. Looked pretty full on.
Did you?
But I think he was probably
just brag about not captaining Haaland last night.
Yeah.
in a game where you can change your captaincy the next match day if you feel like, if you make a
Yeah,
mistake.
but people have people captained him, and Mbappe was playing at the same time, so they will never get Mbappe's 32 points.
Did Mbappe? Oh, Mbappe smashed it last night, did he?
Yeah, yes, he did. So yes, I am,
Yeah. Well,
I am boasting about that.
how about you put that on your? How
Hmm.
about you put that on your own fucking Champions League podcast then? Okay.
Yeah, tune into my spin-off show coming next week without Ger.
Paddy does
It's gonna
UCL.
be a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patent
But
pending.
yeah,
Patent
anyway,
pending.
I was trying to make it relate to our fucking fancy football podcast. So where I was going with it is sometimes if you have that doubt in the pit of your stomach, right? Let's just fucking do it. Are we going to captain Salah this week against Leeds? Is it a possibility, Jer?
Don't rope me into your madness. I think it is a possibility. I think we'll save. Well, no, fuck it. We'll get into it right now. So I guess that brings us directly into the returning for the first time in a good few weeks, and somehow we got a bunch of them. Drunk Tank. Now we got a couple of questions in, and the first one in was from the eater of FPL content, Nuclear Adams, and a good friend of the show, and he goes straight into it. Or is it
Straight in, no
there's actually
kissing.
two questions, so we're going to cover two in one go.
No foreplay.
No foreplay. Captain Salah or Saka? No Haaland captaincy for me. The early kickoff is still cursed.
Wow.
So essentially, he's not asking about Haaland at all, but he does bring it up, and he also then leaves a message for our other podcast partner in crime, Seamus. And he says, "Can you make Seamus get off his lazy bum and start appearing in the pod more often? He takes too many holidays." And I 100% agree with you, Nuclear. He's
And I agree as well.
I think
and I'm a Seamus dearly, but
if you had his rank, you'd probably take a few more holidays as well.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
But yeah,
that's good.
he talks about Haaland captaincy, and yeah, I mean, like we were talking about there is the early kickoff. Salah's got a plum fixture. I'm gonna miss the early matches as well because I won't be home, and I've got that I'll be back in time for that Liverpool Leeds match in the evening. It's a late kickoff on Saturday for a change, 7:45.
Mm-hmm.
So as a just like the player in me, like the fan of the game in me, wants me to just have that captain because I can watch the match, but there's that part in the back of my head saying like, "Are you fucking mad taking your armband off Haaland? Like what's he got, like 17 goals now or something like that? It's absolute madness."
Yeah, he's nearly like beaten the top goal scorer, last year's top goal scorer already, and it's not even halfway through the season. Also, do you believe in this early kickoff, early captaincy curse bullshit? I mean, do you buy that, Jer, that I'm not captaining someone? I know you might have said it tongue in cheek, but I mean, do you believe in the early kickoff curse?
Well, like I don't believe in a curse, obviously, because I'm not, insane. But yeah.
From Mayo.
But I mean, I do think that it can upset your game week if your captain if you just remove hope straight away, unless it's like one of those really obvious. I think we had, like, was it Haaland Bournemouth this year. I think that was an early kickoff as well, if memory serves me correct. And it was, it was just after he scored a hat trick or something. But either way, it was like everyone was captain Haaland, and I didn't doubt it that week. But I also Haaland also wasn't yellow flagged, where I'm afraid that even if they do beat Leicester, who are on form as well, by the way, like that's the other thing, they're coming up in form. Is it like 3 clean sheets or 4 clean sheets in the last 5? Like, they're clearly a team on the turn at the moment, and they're at home. So I mean, there's a lot of things right now that's I don't think it's completely unreasonable to be looking at against Haaland this week. And maybe it's one of those things like, that separates the wheat from the chaff. Am I just talking myself into it on there?
I don't know, but here's another question for you. What's your alarm tone? What's your alarm? What noise does your phone make to wake you up in the morning?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot there. It's like one of those noises that you just. I know it
But
when I hear it.
yeah, I mean, you must be able to replicate it. Is it just that generic? Dun, 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 you know that horrible one.
No, it's
You're
a
an iPhone
nice.
user,
I'm
yeah?
not an iPhone user. No, I'm Android. Android all the way, baby. For
Okay.
life.
So anyway, it's right. Well, mine's that really annoying iPhone
Okay.
tone. It's not nice. But yours is just a chime as well. Is it just one of the
Yeah,
generic?
yeah, yeah, yeah. What?
Yeah. Do you know what Hallen's alarm tone is?
I do not.
Jer?
I do not.
Do you know what wake do you so yeah now Haaland's alarm tone is the Champions League music. That's what wakes him up. Do you know why? I haven't made this up. This is fact checked.
No, it isn't.
Okay, he wakes up. I'm telling you, I'm fucking telling you, right? He wakes up to the Champions League music every single morning. Do you know why, Jer?
Because he's a champion.
It's not a novel because exactly, and he wants to be at the top. So he's my captain. See, even if he was red flagged, he'd be my captain.
Okay. I mean, I guess like I just feel like if I say it on the show, I'm just gonna chicken out everybody of the week anyway, and just be like, EO and all that kind of. It's too
So
easy.
Pull a lead on field.
I'd never do that to you, Paddy. I would never do that to you. Yeah.
No, I know. So like you're probably going to captain Haaland unless Pep says he's not playing.
Yeah, I think that's, I suppose, the other opposite side of the coin when it comes to the early kickoff is that there's a good chance we might get some leaked team news. So I mean, like, if you got confirmation that he wasn't starting, for example, you know, the only chance you're ever going to get it at is in the early kickoff. So I guess that's the upside of it. I mean, it'll definitely be one that I'll be mulling over in the brain. I think Liverpool were shocking this week against Nottingham Forest. It wasn't one of those, they were beaten down on the door, but they just couldn't get in. It was like, a couple of headed chances from set plays, and other than that, like, absolutely toothless looking. And that that's also got to be considered. It's as simple as that. With Salah,
Yeah, but maybe like they bounce back now against Leeds. Leeds have been like terrible as well. Like lightning can't strike twice, can it? I mean, can they be that bad again?
Yeah, or could Leeds play well? Because I mean, could Leeds be
not under that manager?
Yeah, that seems to be
I think he's really bad. Yeah,
that seems to be the consensus. I can't say I have any strong feelings on the manager, but I also didn't realize how many matches they had lost or failed to pick up a win in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, Ger, there's managers out there that are actually one of their transfers is going to be Trent this week. People are bringing in Trent. Yeah, like I've seen it spoken about. Like, I'm bringing Trent, and like from top managers, like they're bringing in Trent. Like,
yeah, I mean, Trent is
people
the kind
are
of
feeling like something's going to go off.
I think he's the kind of, like, he has earned himself the the honor of being a transfer that you can always make if you're 100% sure he's going to start.
Yeah.
Obviously, his minutes have been kind of up and down the last couple of weeks, but I mean, based on Champions League this week, I would expect him to start at the weekend. He seems to be getting back to fitness, and I think, like, he's capable of just pulling out a double digit any game week, let alone against Leeds. So I don't think I could ever knock someone that says I'm getting in Trent this week. That's like knocking someone that's, getting in a Harry Kane or Haaland or something like that, where, like,
Yeah.
and Haaland's probably so new to the league, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like a premium fucking asset is what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
I do. But just under the circumstances, it feels maybe a little bit braver because Liverpool have been so poor.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at Liverpool's next 3 fixtures, home to Leeds, and then they have a tricky away game to Spurs, who are also struggling to find form at the moment. So, I mean, you'll have two teams, like, you'd assume Spurs will beat Bournemouth this weekend, and Liverpool will beat Leeds, but I mean, both will be going for that, looking for some kind of spark from that match in game week 15, and I don't know how excited I am to have assets.
Yeah, because if you're Bournemouth and you're Leeds, you're thinking this is the right time to play these two motherfuckers.
Looking at the fact that there's only a few game weeks before the World Cup, do you think there's much chance of rotation, like from players that are afraid to pick up a knock a game week or two out? Do you think that'll have any effect going into the next 3 game weeks?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, there could be like, look what that just recently happened to who was it there? Like, he came off ground, like Varane for United, like just getting so close to the World Cup, and like, Ten Hag spoke about that today. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't see it yet, but it's out there. Is he out of the World Cup?
No, it's it looks to be good news. I think essentially he won't play for United before the World Cup again, but he looks like he'll make the World Cup.
But he could.
Yeah, he could. Well, he could. Well, he maybe exactly.
Yeah, like he could. He probably could, but I mean, he's not.
He's not taking.
That was his scare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's like a double-edged sword. Players will want to have that good form, good feeling, playing as much football as they can before they go into a major tournament, and then maybe at the back of some heads they'll be like, oh, I'm not going to go in for that 50-50. You know what I mean?
Or maybe like
there might be.
If I can get subbed off like on the 60 minutes, maybe keep those legs down a little bit fresh.
If I can get the job done here and get off early, we're coming into like definitely times of caution.
Yeah.
For FPL managers and for players, I'd say, but I mean, I think you can't look at it like that. You just have to go all in. I mean, if you don't captain Salah this week, it's a rank killer if he plays and does bits. You know what I mean? You have to sure, I would love to jump over there to Salah against Leeds and all, but that's the fear factor. Like, if you do and it doesn't work,
I mean, it's kind of like it's one of those, it's turned into the classic FPL philosophical questions. Do you play against EO? Like, is it kind of against? Do you go with the player that you think is going to get the most points, or do you go with the player that's going to do the less damage? Or the least damage, the kind of way if you get it
battle.
That's and look, to be honest with you, that's something that every FPL manager is going to have to decide for themselves. I mean,
that's a gut decision. You got to go with your gut in that. I mean, I think for me, Ger, that if I think Haaland's going to play at all, I will captain Haaland and I will go with the brunt. I think just having Salah alone is a bonus, because I think some people have jumped off him for Foden already and they won't be jumping back over. I think, if you have him, just be thankful that you have him for the Leeds game and you didn't jump off for Foden last week. And just leave it at that. Just go with Haaland captain, unless there's some crazy news where Haaland is definitely out. I think he becomes your next captaincy option.
Yeah. I mean, like, you speak sense, and I think the fact that this week, Salah away to Forest and Haaland at Brighton, there was a few managers who made that decision. Like, they took the chance this week. I've seen them in our own mini leagues and group chats and stuff. You see the odd couple of managers who, for completely sane reasons, did decide to opt with Salah, and they got burnt.
It's illogical. Yeah, and then, you can't beat yourself up on that, though. You can't beat yourself up for changing Trossard to Foden when Man City were playing Brighton. That was a perfectly logical thing to do. But one man that's beaten himself up, and that's my friend Brian, who's probably going to get his own segment in this show, because, I mean, he WhatsApps me after every game week, and I love hearing from him, but there's pain in his voice. Like, he sold Almiron just before Almiron went off. He's took hits to bring in players that he didn't have, like James, for them only to get injured. When your luck's out, your luck is out. Like, that's a player that maybe we need to start talking about as well. When we go into our transfers, we'll definitely speak about Almiron. There's people that have been posting.
I actually have a question tonight, Paddy, from FPL Runnerid 9. And he asks, best 5.5 million or lower midfielder until the wildcard, and the options he lists off are Miggy and Xhaka. and potentially anyone else. But like you've talked about him there, so I mean, you've obviously got your eye on him. Yeah, perfect segue, like a boss.
Yeah, I have 2 free transfers, Ger, and I've been looking forward to tonight to speak about them because I really am up in the air. Like, there's so many different combinations. There's so many different areas of my team that I think I want to improve or I want to fix. Like, I could. I'm not going to get rid of Salah. I've kind of contented myself with that. I can't possibly get rid of him. I'm looking at Perisic. I'm looking at replacements for him, like maybe Delo. I like United's fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing a bit of form. Maybe I'm sure that there's other candidates there, but he's nice and cheap. Perisic to Delo frees up a bit of money as well. I'm looking then at maybe do I get rid of do I start fixing the bench Emerson? But then I'm thinking, why do that when there's only 3 weeks to the World Cup or to the break or to the dead end, and I can just revamp the whole team, fix all those little problems. So I'm looking at players like Bowen now. Again, I feel unlucky with Bowen. Like he got taken off 2 minutes before a penalty, and he would have been taking that penalty. I think he made a little tongue-in-cheek joke that he'd missed the last one. He mightn't have been, but I think for a fact Bowen would have hit that penalty, even though he missed the last one against Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Benrahma has taken them before, and he has he's got dead balls in his pocket. So I don't know how to.
Yeah, well, I still feel robbed.
Yeah, I mean, I was laughing as a non-Bowen owner. I was very, very happy to see him subbed off, and just before the penalty did seem particularly cruel to any of the owners. But like, did just to go back to your Perisic comment, I mean, looking at United's fixtures, they have 3 pretty decent fixtures in the next 3, with West Ham this weekend, away to Villa and away to Fulham. So I mean, I think Dalot is a completely viable option, especially now that you've got that Chelsea fixture out of the way. And
it's gone.
What's that? What's he 4.6 these days? And Perisic is 5.5. So you get a cool mill in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a sweet upgrade, for the next 3 fixtures. Not knowing, is Perisic going to start or he's going to play 90, it's just not nice, and I don't like that. I mean, I want my players on and ready to go, And another, I'm looking at, I could go maybe Bowen to Almiron, but then I'm thinking, that Arsenal game against Nottingham Forest, I might even just go Bowen to Saka and have Saka and Martinelli,
would you not want Bowen for home Crystal Palace, home Leicester in game week 15 and 16?
Yeah.
That's the real thing,
Yeah, I might, but you see, I don't want him for a United game.
Yeah, no, I get it, but it is just a one match, And West Ham are kind of.
I know, but then maybe I could. Yeah, I know they're okay. I mean, but then I could just jig him back. I mean, I could jig him back for someone else. It's there's 3 weeks now to the break, so I feel that you can hokey cokey. You can do the fuck you want now. I mean, you're getting a reset or a dead end or dead ended or whatever.
So does that mean that you leave Andreas on the bench again this week at home to Everton?
Yeah, well, let's face it. Only people that have 3 main teams are getting Andreas'
That's a fair
points.
point. That's a fair statement.
I don't have a 3 main. They're getting Andreas' points because they've gone with 3 main team.
They might have also.
And fair play to them, they're
just
getting
gone with a different striker in not Mitrovic, and therefore wanting to get a slice of that Fulham pie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. But I mean, at the moment, I'm Haaland, Mitrovic, and Tony, and I can't see myself using my 2 free transfers to bring in Jesus there. I like Brentford's next 2 fixtures. They've got Wolves and they've got Nottingham Forest. Of course, when it comes to Man City, that'll be like a punt. I can go, before the break.
It'll give you
that'll
an
be
option.
Lovely. I'll switch them out. Yeah, I've got Mitrovic now, who's got Everton, Man City next, and then United. So Mitrovic might go. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
The next, he's got 1 good fixture, and then he's got United and City. Haaland will never go.
That's a fair point.
But that's the forward line. You've got you've got a couple of punts. We're kind of in punt city at the minute. Then looking at the midfield, I've got Salah now. He's got Leeds. I got to keep him for that. I've got Bowen, who I feel
I think
I could waver. Like he's the only one that's tempted me.
I mean, like,
I'm not getting rid of Rashford or Martinelli.
I mean, I think there's a lot of options out there floating around, and we do have a little surprise section at the end of later on in the show that we will look at to the last 3 game weeks a bit closer. But yeah, I don't think there's anything massively concerning with your team, Paddy, which is it's a good place to be. But getting back to the best 5.5 or lower midfielder, you seem to be swaying towards Miggy. You're saying he's the one.
Can't ignore him. I mean, he's doing it on the pitch. He's putting points on the FPL board. He's playing in a good team that's in form. Why not 5.5?
What do you make of Xhaka, the other option that he offers?
Yeah, I mean, I know every time I hear Xhaka, I think of the old Xhaka, the more defensive lane Xhaka. He's pushed up a wee bit more now. He's definitely... But anyway, I'm not going to go into it. I think he's a waste of an Arsenal space. Xhaka, and you've got Jesus. So I'm ruling Xhaka out as, an FPL option just because of that. I think Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus just trump.
I'm starting to think you know what you're talking about these days, Paddy, with FPL.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's a smooth answer and one that I do agree with. I think of course he's having a great season for his price and he's overperforming, but in terms of what we expected. But I'd much rather be looking at the likes of Saka and Jesus and maybe even a defender or two. Other questions, Other questions we have this week. FPL Fantasy Phenom at FPL_Phenom. Again, he mentions that Haaland cap he's going with as he probably starts or doesn't feature. But actually, just to touch on, we kind of best vice captain this week given Liverpool and Salah's form. I don't know. Is that a question? Best vice captain, or is that just a reference to his last one, or is he answering the question?
No, that's probably a really relevant question to ask. Because Haaland's sitting there with a fucking yellow flag. I mean, who's the best vice captain? If you have Salah in your team, that's your vice captain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your get out of jail card.
I get you.
If you've got that little bit of want in you to actually captain Salah, just put the vice on him.
I mean, there's a couple of fixtures there that. If you wanted...
You could go with, look at Arsenal.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of back to Nuclear's question. He asked Saka or Salah, even because he doesn't want to any part of that midday or early kick-off curse. So, I mean, Arsenal home against Forest this week, ridiculously nice fixture, and a team that are also, going great guns this year. Yes, would you be looking at Saka or Salah?
Salah.
Yeah,
gun to my head, Salah, and I do that's me.
I think Leeds are more capable of capitulating than Forest, but I also think Liverpool are more likely to capitulate than Arsenal, so it's a tough one. Then we have one more question. It's I think it's aimed particularly at you and your beautiful artistry that you put up every week before we record. How do you like? This is from Pitch Perfect or Pitch Perfect. Whoops, Pitch Pedigree at Pitch_Pedigree. Everyone's underscoring tonight. How do you like your Guinness served? Cold or just below room temperature? This one got to you off air.
Yeah, this is a guy from New York, all the way from New York.
Is that a New York accent?
I like my. I was like a Boston kind of accent, was it?
Well, it wasn't New York, I'll tell you that much.
Thanks for. Thanks for making the balls of me there, but no, yeah. I like my Guinness as cold as possible.
Yeah.
Well, how do you like your Guinness, Ger? Whenever you're not doing sober October. How do you like your beverages?
Whenever I'm not horribly failing at something.
When you're not quitting challenges.
No, I'm the same. Yeah. I'm Guinness cold as cold as I can.
And Guinness has to be cold, ice cold.
There is a few,
but I mean, there are some stouts. No, but there's a Kinniger. It's a porter. It's called the Yanaruddy,
I've had it, yeah.
and it's better served. Yeah, it's better served at room temperature because you can get the flavors more. Whenever it's really cold, it's just like you don't get the nice flavors of it. So yeah. So if you have a Yanaruddy, leave it out for an hour before you go drinking it. It tastes a lot better.
And yet another plug for Kinniger. I'm definitely thinking you're secretly sponsored and just trying to get some fucking get some free cans.
Hashtag ad.
But yeah, I'm
Hey, it's about time we got fucking sponsored.
Paddy. The shit that
So
we
let's
say
speak to
on
Kinniger.
air, there's no hope we should.
Yeah,
No one.
one,
could. And
no
why
one
should
would
they,
ever sponsor
you know?
us. I don't think.
But yeah,
Exactly. We will sell out eventually, but
oh
not
yeah,
yet.
of course. When the price is right or anything.
When the check comes in. Right, say we were offered like a big contract now, Ger, right? But we had to stop swearing and saying cock.
Yeah.
Would you take the deal?
I just
Like,
don't.
if we
I don't
had,
think
like,
you could.
really
I don't
keen
like. I don't think you. No, I don't like. No, you couldn't. It wouldn't be the FPL Hangover, would it? Like it would. If it was like a whole,
No, like you
like
need
a different show, and they were like, "Would
fucking
you?"
few cocks in there.
Exactly. You always need a cock.
It's like watching porn, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like watching porn. Like the lesbian porn's alright, but you know, there's nothing better than a good cock.
I mean, like. Exactly. Lesbian. It's just self-indulgent, isn't it? Lesbian porn.
Let's be
It's just
real here, like.
vanity, or not vanity, but it's just too much. Nah. As you said, Paddy.
Yeah, I mean it's nice seeing the titties and all that, and but it's just not the same without a
I can
fucking cock for the.
I can tell your wife definitely does not listen to the podcast. I'm starting to come to that conclusion.
Gosh.
But
do you agree with me? All the people listening now at their cars or their headphones at work or wherever the fuck they are like this here. Look, and for the YouTube, they can just say, yeah, he knows.
Let us know in the comments below if you agree with Paddy's point.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, and let us know if that is something that you also agree with.
And if anybody wants to sponsor the podcast, we will never stop saying the word cock.
Yeah. But yeah, that was all the drunk tag for this evening. Thank you very much. You really inspired Paddy to sink to new lows for the show, which is only a blessing. And I guess it's time, Paddy, for the mini league, the FPL Hangover podcast.
Oh yeah, the mini league. Yeah, we do have some FPL Hangover podcast mini league statistics ready for your ears right now.
So while you're pulling them up,
I feel like I have to speak. I feel.
Yeah, no, you don't. I was about to cover you. I was about to promote the mini league codes one last time. PK3.
Oh, well, do it.
Thanks, Paddy. PK3 DFT. We're going to leave it open for one more week, and if you'd like to join and get involved, PK3 DFT. It's there.
In case any more Richard Wayhangers want to join.
I'm honoured. I'm honoured, man.
Top the whole. Yeah, I'm honoured to have this guy who just came a couple of weeks ago, and he's top, and he's still top.
Yeah.
Well done, Richard. He's got a live overall rank of 925. He's in the top 1,000. Richard, you brilliant man. His overall points are 833. He's top of the league. No one is going to stop him. Emil Seidlik.
He's only
second.
Like 15 points off him.
Yeah, but he's like 4,694th in the world.
You're looking at overall rank way too closely.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Richard is just fucking under the. Richard is top 1K.
Yeah, but
that's legendary. Anyway, 80 Friel's third. Brian says in fourth. Ari Nugara is fifth. Damien McCallion sixth. Paul Ryan seventh. Paul O'Gorman, Pogerman himself, is in eighth. A former winner of one of my own leagues. He's a very good player. And Craig Raynar is ninth. And Paddy Pa is 10th.
Yeah.
So that is your top 10.
Absolutely.
Like one of those could potentially be winning the amazing Hangover hip flask.
It is.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I mean, it's a possibility, but they're gonna have to keep their fucking A game up all season long. The competition that's in that league.
Yeah.
You got
Now, the highest risers and the highest fallers, I want to especially mention this today because a man from my parish, Tony McBride, is the highest riser. He rose up 37 places this week and puts him into a live mini league rank of 38th place. So, that's pretty special. Now, the manager of the week, Ger. Drum roll, please. Anders. Wow. The fucking budget is gone on the show. Anders Hersvik.
As soon as I did it, Paddy, I went, I could have just fucking put in some post production drum roll there.
No, but that's better.
Sorry, I ruined it.
No, you didn't. It's far better. Anders Hersvik, who got 80 points this week when the average was 51, was it?
51, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, special mention goes to Frank Fallon and again Tony McBride from the parish, 79 points they both got. And Tony Clark, 79.
It's a great week.
So let's go over here now to some of my favorite stuff. Let's go to Transfer Genius. Yes, that's what I like here. This turns me on, Getting your transfer right is always a good feeling,
just
isn't
like dicks in porn.
Exactly. Daniel Andrews made one transfer this week, and it was the best transfer in the whole fucking league. And he netted himself 12 points. And James to Castagna.
Nice, yeah.
Wow. Isn't that sexy? Yeah, that's
seen a lot of Castagnas floating around.
Yeah. Well,
I don't mean that in a disparaging way. Sorry, that came across like dismissive. I just meant.
You shot all
I just
over
meant
Daniel's
I'm sorry.
genius.
I'm sorry. I just meant that I've seen
Daniel's
it going. It's been one of those when you're looking at someone that's gotten 10, 15 points more than you this week. You're going, what the fuck did you have? And you're like, Castagna. You've got me again. Yeah.
Castagna. It sounds like a fucking Belgian beer, doesn't it?
It does.
Castagna.
Yeah, Castagna with your lasagna. There you go.
Oh yeah, now you've just made it Italian. So Donal Hurley, anyway. Donal Hurley was the second best transfer, netting 11 points, and he done. Now this is fucking crazy, right? This is crazy. You sitting down?
I am.
Welbeck to Holland.
It feels like is not a transfer I thought I was going to hear this week.
No, he's 171st in the league. So if that's the first time he's brought in Holland, that is probably a good reflection.
I respect the persistency that he come back and make that game in game week 14.
Yeah, he's probably sitting there going, "Nah, Holland, he can't keep up. Nah, he's not going to happen. That's it." He got
him the week that he gets a potential yellow flag, and the week after he gets a potential.
Fucking hell. Anyway, transfer nightmare or sack the scout or whatever the fuck you want to do. Bernard O'Shea, third cousin of John O'Shea. He made, oh my god, Jesus Christ. First of all, he's made a net loss of minus 37.
What?
Right? Yeah, a net loss of minus 37 points. And he made 5 transfers this week. So he took a minus 16. Okay. So anyway, Bernard must have fucking... I'm getting vibes of... I thought I pushed the wildcard button or the free hit and it didn't happen. But who fucking knows? Maybe he's just a fucking renegade. Anyway... He's made so many transfers, can't even see them all, but Neco Williams to Trent Alexander, Keane to Darwin Núñez, and Trossard to Foden were just the first 3 I can see. So God knows what the fuck else that guy was at. Anyway, do you know what? Special mention goes to Tom Moriarty. You know that bloke? Moriarty. a net transfer of minus 22 points.
What?
But get this, right? Yeah, a net transfer of minus 22 points. Two transfers, and he took a minus 4.
Okay.
Now, Tom. Tom got rid of Kane for Firmino, and he got rid of Bailey for Foden.
Ah, yes, I get you. So on paper, it's one of those moves where you're like, I mean, you think you're doing this massive upgrade, Bailey to Foden, and fuck, yeah, probably wouldn't have even played.
Let that, let that sink in. Like that, that's bad luck, isn't it, Ger?
Yeah, I mean, Foden screwed a lot of people over this week, didn't he?
Yeah, like Bailey to Foden, and then Kane to Firmino. Ouch, Tom. Ouch. Right up the bum, that one is. Emil Emil Seidlich, second in the league. Third worst transfer. Net minus 19. And he took 2 transfers during minus.
I'd say it's similar, is it? Bailey again?
Kane to Jesus. Okay. And Almiron to Foden.
Ah, fuck. So again, Foden strikes again. Oh, man.
Yeah, Foden is in a lot of these. Now, I'm only going to do the top 3 there, unless you know any of these guys personally. Dave Milan, Luke, Derek Kern. Derek Kern's Tinkerman.
He is a Fulham fan.
Minus 14. Yeah, minus 14. Tony to Darwin, Trossard to Martinelli, Perisic to the low. And he took a minus 8 as well. Ouch. I could look at them all day. I love the transfer shit. But anyway, we'll wrap it up with the bench wanker, another good one. And you just knew the bench wanker was going to be big this week.
Yeah, with the likes of Bailey and Pereira sitting on a lot of benches.
Yeah.
Even Nico Williams.
So anyway, let's get right. Yeah, exactly. There's loads. Like Niall Bolster. Do you know Niall Bolster?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Not only did Niall take a minus 4 this week and come out with a net transfer of minus 6, he also had 32 points on his bench. 32 fucking points. Now, I don't know who the fuck he had on his bench, but Pereira,
I'd say the average of bench points this week must have been very high.
Yeah, like the top 3 are 32 points, 31, 30, and 28. And loads of people had big ones. So yeah, that would be the FPL Hangover League.
Or you gotta call it transfer fucking mini league? Come on, Paddy, get your shit together. Fuck's sake.
You're right. Listen, you have me haywire here today after I heard that you're back on the beer.
It's more of
a lot of fucking. Nah, just you need to go back to the meetings.
I'm sorry. I've let everyone down. But yeah. That was the mini league, and again, anyone that wants to join, it's PK3 DFT. And I guess before we go, special mention to the Irish FPL Meetup that's happening on November the 12th up in Galway. I've decided that I will basically, one of the organisers, FPL Era, a friend of the show, he's been on the show, he put out a tweet today. And I thought that was a perfect segue into plugging the meetup and getting through one of the talking points for the next 3 weeks. He basically did a handy little guide, and he does these all the time for wildcards and free hits and whatnot, of a best run of fixtures to target until the World Cup. And then he offers us a breakdown of the best upcoming 3 game weeks. And I mean, he starts with City. I guess you have to, but it's a bit of a no-brainer, and I don't think it's even worth talking about. Leicester, Fulham, Brentford. I mean, what more do you want? But there is a couple of interesting options there, and I think like teams that people would be looking to get on. Again, no massive shocks with the likes of Arsenal, but I mean, we've talked about Man United last week and another decent performance, and we kind of touched on them this week with the likes of Delo. But there's value there with like the Rashfords, if you wanted to stretch a bit more to Anthony. And while I'm not overly confident about this week's game at home to West Ham, I do think like Villa and Fulham are perfect games to target towards the end of the end of this first half of the season. Again, Liverpool, lovely fixtures, but we know the kind of form they're in. Spurs, we've spoke about. No mad shocking ones. I mean, like, I guess if I was to dispute something, I would be worried about the likes of Palace. He's listed out Palace here. They've, again, fixtures wise, he's not entirely wrong. Southampton at home is a good fixture, but then away to West Ham and away to Forest, I'm not entirely convinced by Palace's away form. Have you got any of Palace in your team at the moment, Paddy?
I have no Palace, and I did think about Palace for a little bit when I seen the fixtures, but I just had other moves to make, and I never went near Palace. And do you know what? I didn't miss much today.
I mean, again, like Zaha's goal in game week 13 handy. Do you know, like, you're kind of happy with that, but it is kind of a home thing, so I'll be expecting a bit this week, but I would have no issues coming off of Palace assets for game week 15 and 16 if they do fail to deliver at home to Southampton. And I do want to maybe take a cheeky punt on a Rashford or someone else. He mentions Everton game week 14, 15 and 16, Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth. Decent looking fixtures. Everton are definitely an improved team from last season. I'm still not overly convinced of the amount of goals they'll get, but as we'll see later on, the likes of Calvert-Lewin definitely offers like options for the likes of Mitrovic. Like you mentioned, Paddy, that Mitrovic has got two shitty fixtures in 15 and 16 with United, the two Manchester clubs, and if you're looking to take a punt something on DCL, if he gets a few more minutes and starts in between, maybe this week, then yeah, I think he's a head turn, and their fixtures are pretty decent. Leicester and Bournemouth, but how many goals in them, I don't know. And then finally, the last team I'll touch on is West Ham. Home to Crystal Palace, home to Leicester. Like, you're looking at coming off bone, just I think based on this nasty looking fixture this week away to United. But I know if I don't have bone in game week 15 or 16, I'll be definitely be sitting behind the sofa for those matches. I mean, that might also be where you go with the likes of Zaha, in my case. So yeah, Paddy, I mean, I think you maybe hold tough on Bone, see how you get on this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll see. I mean, like, I just think that I could upgrade him to a tastier fixture, and I mean, knowing that there's only 3 fixtures before the World Cup, I just feel I'm loose. I'm like after a breakup, and I'm just going out and I'm just gonna get fucking banged everywhere.
Jesus Christ, buddy! One track mind tonight. One track mind.
I know.
But yeah,
Sorry.
No, so just to give credit to Air again, I'll link that in the details in the description below. But also the Irish FPL meetup, November the 12th. I think it's on Pucon in County Galway. There's promises to be a rake of crack, and if you want any further details, you can reach out to him or other friend of the show, FPL Fairy. And the two of those boys are looking to put on one hell of a show, it seems, and we'll be there. So
Yeah, and of course we can't just run through Ferry's beautiful thread without telling you to check out his YouTube channel at FPL Era.
Yeah,
as well.
You're right. I should have mentioned that at the start. Well, I was going to link
Ger?
it all, but yeah.
I got your back, Era.
Yeah,
got your back, Era.
He does weekly team selections
so
and game week previews and whatnot. Do check it out below. I would have linked it all.
Oh yeah, jump in the bandwagon.
Well, I mean, come on, Paddy. You hung me out to dry, but I'm glad you saved the day a little bit. I'm glad you saved the day. So before we head away, Paddy, and enter game week 14 with our heads, I was going to say games, our heads held high. Puck Fada. Now, Seamus hasn't got back to you, has he?
Oh, let's double check. Let's see how committed he is to the cause. Let's see, Seamus, have you come through? No, he hasn't come through. So actually, we were speaking to him earlier, and he said he's going to go with Welbeck.
Danny Welbeck, you know him. Seamus is always he's always had a boner for him.
He's gone with him the last couple of weeks now.
He has. And what about yourself, Patrick? Who are you totting up this week?
I'm going with Bruno Fernandes, 2.4% owned. He is my puck fada this week.
I think that's a solid shout, home to West Ham.
And yourself?
I'm going with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He got his goal last week, and I'm wondering if he can maybe pick up and kind of carry a bit of form into the last couple of game weeks. So yeah, you can see where my mind is at.
Very good. I like that pick. Yeah. Yeah, you're just on flavor of the month. So give us an update on who's winning the
We've
Puck Fada.
removed you from it for foul and abusive language, and essentially I'm winning. So no, I jest.
So
Yeah,
I'm winning then.
you're still putting us all to shame, Paddy. And
I'm still.
if only you were a
That's
betting
good.
man.
That's good to
If
hear.
only you were a betting man.
Yeah, I know. Don't go near that, so don't. So if there's any bookies sponsors out there, we'll be
Yeah,
turning you down.
unless you are completely fine with, constant cocks. Yeah,
Cocks.
exactly. Then free to.
Yeah,
Then
then we
will
might be
say.
swayed.
We draw the line at gambling. Alcohol and
Yeah.
foul language and porn. That's fine.
That's where we are. Ger, that's two good puck fadas. Also, just before we actually really wrap it up, how many transfers do you have to make this week?
I have to make none. I'm never forced to make a transfer. But I have only the one.
Oh, Connie Font.
I
You
yeah,
have one
exactly.
free transfer.
I do. I have one free
Absolutely.
transfer. If you listened to me,
And where I don't never listen to you. Sure, why would I listen to a man tells me he's off the beer for October and then he's sitting drinking a fucking ginger beer
it's
in front of
ginger
me here
beer.
tonight?
It's hardly real
You
beer.
can take the. It's 4.9% alcohol. I asked to see it before the show. Yeah, whatever. It's fucking rocket fuel. So where's your free transfer? Where is your thoughts on the free transfer? This is the wrap up anyway. This is the. We need to know. Where's your free
I think I'm just
transfer?
going to roll it this week. I think I'm going to roll.
Roughly.
I have a
Okay. And your
captaincy is something I'm on the fence about. I think I was all Haaland. It was, well, to be honest with you, it was sitting on Salah. When I did my bus team after the game week deadline on Saturday, I said it to Salah, or before it, should I say? You know, I said it to Salah when I was setting my bus team, and I was like, yeah, I'm not even going to think about it. And then, like, come Sunday, I was like, oh, I had a quick look at it again. I went, actually, you know what? That needs to be on Haaland. And now I'm swaying myself back around again to Salah. So I'll roll my transfer. I've got, 3 City away to Leicester, 2 Crystal Palace home to Southampton. So I'm really hoping that doesn't fucking bite me in the ass. But I'm pretty happy all around. Shitty keeper, West Ham or Ward to City. So like the two Manchester teams, yeah. But I guess you just take Fabianski and whatever. If he gets a couple of save points, all the best. But yeah, no transfer for me, and I have Andreas's first sub, which even then I could, as I said, I'm without a transfer. I'm wondering if I've got the strongest 11 out. But either way, the real decision will be on the captaincy, and I do think there's an actual, food for thought there, a lot more than there was last game week.
Yeah, and it's one of those we just have to keep an eye on as the game week approaches ever so near on Saturday deadline, isn't it?
The usual 11 o'clock. So you'd want to keep your
morning game.
Keep your ears to the social media feeds and stuff, and if you can get some early team news like on the likes of Foden or Haaland, that's going to be really beneficial. But we will wrap it up there. Paddy, where can everyone find you?
They can find me at FPL Viking _ on Twitter. They can find me on TikTok, FPL Viking _ there as well. And they can find me on Instagram at the Viking Dippers.
Excellent.
And yourself?
If you want to reach out to the show, you can get onto Twitter. It's at FPL Hangover. And if you do want to send an email, it's fplhangover@gmail.com. So all those sponsors, that's how you contact us for any business inquiries that I'm sure you're dying to make. fplhangover@gmail.com. So yeah, if you enjoyed what you heard tonight, be sure to share it with a friend, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. It really helps us out. And Paddy, would you like to say anything before we wrap up? Absolutely perfect. And enjoy game week 14, and most importantly, God bless.